Wood-burning stoves have been around for hundreds of years. If you're looking for an efficient, affordable way to heat your home, a wood stove may be the solution. It's perfect for anyone who doesn't mind making the hearth the focal point of the house. Plus, it adds warmth and charm to any home. In this video, eFireplaceStore will show you what's inside a non-catalytic stove and how to use one. We'll also look at the advantages and disadvantages of owning them, including how new EPA regulations will affect their future. The specialists at eFireplaceStore are certified by the National Fireplace Institute, which means theirs is the knowledge you should trust when it comes to your hearth appliance. What's inside your stove? At the ceiling of any firebox is a small passage to the flue system that remains open at all times and allows the stove to draft. Just below the ceiling of most modern non-catalytic stoves, however, is a set of ceramic baffles, fire bricks, or steel plates that restrict the escape of combustion gases into the flue system. As the wood fuel burns, oxygen is pulled into the stove. Some of this oxygen is directed through a series of tubes with rows of small holes. This manifold provides air for what's called secondary combustion. In secondary combustion, the gases released by the burning fuel, but trapped by the baffle system, burn and create a curtain of flame that prevents all but the smallest and hardest to burn particles from escaping. Using a non-catalytic wood stove. A couple of notes before we begin. First, every non-catalytic stove is unique, so don't be deterred if mastering the startup of yours takes some practice. Second, it's important to have a healthy supply of dry kindling. Compared to catalytic stoves, non-catalytic stoves need to warm to a hotter temperature before they're able to sustain combustion. Once you know that, the basic startup process is easy to grasp. Let's get started. Visually inspect the inside of the stove. Make sure all the baffles are in place, the fire brick lining is stacked properly, and there's no damage to any of the secondary air tubes. Set the inlet air lever of the stove to the fully open position. Build a teepee or log cabin style kindling fire using fat wood or softwood kindling. Be sure the paper you use to light the kindling fire is wax free. Once the kindling has ignited, close the door, leaving a 1 to 2 inch gap. This provides your startup airflow. Monitor the kindling fire. Rearranging and adding more kindling is needed until the flames touch the ceiling of the combustion chamber. Once the kindling fire has been burning for about 10 minutes, it's time to add logs. Use seasoned cordwood with a moisture content around 20%. Don't add more than 2 logs to start. Open the stove door slowly to prevent drawing smoke into the room when you add the logs. When you're done, leave the door ajar again 1 to 2 inches. Keep tending the fire until the fuel logs ignite. Once you're sure they're lit and are burning on their own for at least 10 minutes, you can close the door all the way. Keep the primary air control lever in the fully open position for now. When you shut the stove door, the fire will rely on the stove's air inlets for all its combustion air. But, unless it's gotten hot enough to establish a good draft first, the flames will starve. If this happens, open the door 1 to 2 inches again and wait another 5 to 10 minutes before closing it. Once the stove has taken off, additional fuel logs can be added as needed, and the rate of burn can now be regulated by the air control lever. Putting the air control in the fully open position will give you a hotter, faster burn. In the fully closed position, you'll get a longer lasting but cooler burn. And that covers the basic operation of a non-catalytic wood stove. Now let's look at some of their advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. Modern non-catalytic stoves are nearly as clean burning as their catalytic cousins. Non-catalytic stoves generally have fewer moving parts than catalytic stoves in the same price range. With higher combustion temperatures, non-catalytic stoves can heat larger areas than catalytic stoves of the same size. And finally, mastering the startup process of a non-catalytic stove is a lot more straightforward. Disadvantages. Although easier to start, fires in non-catalytic stoves typically take longer to take off and become self-sustaining than catalytic stove fires. Non-catalytic stoves are also more sensitive to your wood's moisture content than catalytic models are. A single load of wood in a non-catalytic stove won't last as long as it would in a catalytic model. And finally, you'll see a lot more ash inside a non-catalytic stove after a burn. What effect do EPA standards have on non-catalytic wood stoves? In 2020, a set of EPA emissions requirements for all wood stoves, whether catalytic or non-catalytic, took effect. The rules only allow stoves to emit 2 grams of smoke particles per hour when burning special testing cribs, or 2.5 grams per hour burning cordwood. Catalytic stoves have always had a leg up on non-catalytic models in terms of their burn efficiency and particulate output. That's because stove catalysts reduce the amount of heat needed to burn fuel and its byproducts. This means complete combustion happens earlier in the burn cycle, which leads to lower particle emissions. As time goes on, though, non-catalytic stove manufacturers increasingly introduce better firebox designs and innovations like secondary and tertiary burn systems that make models more efficient. As a result, there are some non-catalytic models now that put out just as little particulate matter as catalytic stoves do. While plenty of non-catalytic stoves don't meet the new standards, there's a wealth of new models that do. And as more are always being developed, non-catalytic wood stoves will continue to be around for years to come. We at eFireplaceStore want to help you appreciate just how easy to use and reliable non-catalytic wood stoves can be. So, if you still have questions about whether one is right for you, our NFI Certified Specialists are just a phone call or email away. And for more details, have a look at the Wood Burning Stove Buyer's Guide at eFireplaceStore.com, where you can also shop and learn more from our ever-growing library of articles, videos, and other guides. Thanks for watching.